presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are Wisconsin.
Ah, yes, it is that time again. The sun is out, beautiful blue sky up above, and it's spring training baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And this afternoon, the Milwaukee Brewers hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers from Maryvale Baseball Park in West Phoenix. And on the mound today for the Brew Crew, right-hander Mike Fiers. A big spring training for him. Had a terrific year last year, trying to pitch his way into the starting rotation. And his mound opponent today for the Los Angeles Dodgers, no Zach Greinke, Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound. A star in Korea in his first year with the Dodgers. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from West Phoenix. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us. It's great to be back on television once again, and we're looking forward to seeing what the Brewers can produce in 2013. And Rock's been a very interesting spring training already. As you may know, the Brewers have a number of players in the World Baseball Classic, so spring training rosters have been a little empty here, a little interesting in that Ron Roenicke doesn't have his normal group to work with.
Yeah, 13 guys in all in the entire organization, more than any other team, but those guys are starting to come back as teams get eliminated. So what we've been able to see, the future of this organization, guys in the low minor leagues up to AAA, and they have been very impressive. But the big story in spring training this year, not just around Milwaukee, but in baseball, the big arms that this organization has found, and we've seen in spring training, big guys that can throw in the mid-90s.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it today. Our first telecast of the spring. The Brewers and the Dodgers enjoy some of the sights from West Phoenix. Lineups, first pitch, coming up next.
Miller.
Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Columbia St. Mary's, a passion for patient care. And by Mills Fleet Farm. We love it. Just a beautiful day for baseball here in Phoenix, Arizona. The Dodgers and the Brewers spring training baseball in the Cactus League this afternoon. And there is Don Mattingly, and what a ball club he will manage this year. The Dodgers making huge headline news this offseason. A number of big free agent acquisitions, including Zach Greinke. Greinke unable to make the start here today. Mike Fiers on the mound for the Brewers, decked out in their Cerveceros jerseys today, the white Cerveceros jerseys. Set for baseball as Fiers is ready to work to Skip Schumacher. And the first pitch of the ball game is down low, ball one. And away we go from Maryvale Baseball Park. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Craig Cashon is with us. And we'll have a ton of interviews for you today. We'll be in that Brewers dugout. We'll hear from a number of players. We'll also catch up with Ron Roenicke a little later in our broadcast and get you caught up on what's been going on down here in Brewers camp. There's a strike from Fiers. Well, Mike Fiers, he made his first major league start against the Dodgers last season, and what a start it was. 7 innings, just 1 run in late May, as Schumacher sends this one in the air to left. Chris Davis getting the start for Ryan Braun out there today. Braun's absence due to the WBC. You've met Schumacher. Let's give you the rest of the Piggly Wiggly Dodgers batting order. Mark Ellis hits second. Andre Ethier in the 3-hole. Middle of the order is Jerry Hairston Jr., A.J. Ellis, and Juan Uribe. And then Yasiel Puig, along with Dee Gordon and Hyunjin Ryu, round out the Dodger 9 here today. And it'll be Mark Ellis now with 1 away. Well, Rock, for Mike Fiers, this is certainly a big spring for him, and there is a rotation spot available that he'd like to grab.
Yeah, 4 guys for basically 3 spots in the starting rotation. Rotation's going to look very young this year from Milwaukee, but the Brewers are okay with that. Some good arms. Fiers making his 4th appearance down here in spring training. 3rd start. He's 1-0 at a .324 earned run average, getting his work in and looks strong and healthy.
Now, Fiers' last time out was on the 6th of March, last Wednesday, went 3 1/3 innings against the Mariners. And a couple earned runs allowed in that game. Did give up his first home run of the spring in that ball game. But today, hoping for 4 innings or 60 pitches, whichever comes first, as these starting pitchers start to build toward opening day. He issues ball 4 to Mark Ellis. And the Dodgers with a man on with 1 away. Let's see how the Brewers line up defensively. Chris Davis in left, Gomez in center, Nori Aoki in right. The infield is Bobby Crosby, Gene Segura, Ricky Weeks, and Alex Gonzalez. Blake Lally does the catching, and the pitcher Mike Fiers, the Menards Brewers defense. Yeah, when it was all said and done, the Brewers losing 12 players to the World Baseball Classic, and a number of those players are back in camp today. Guys like John Axford and Jim Henderson, Taylor Green. Saw Giovanni Gallardo and Marco Estrada back as well. But USA still active. That means Jonathan Lucroy and Ryan Braun still at it, as well as Martin Maldonado, who's playing for Team Puerto Rico.
And that's one of the things that Ron Roenicke a bit concerned about. Both of his catchers that are going to be on the team this year have not really had much of an opportunity to catch the starting rotation. You know, so far they've been out a week. It's going to be even longer, probably 2 weeks. But it's got to figure out a way to get around it. Every team, or just about most teams, have been dealing with the same thing that the Brewers have been dealing with. 12 players overall, some of those guys minor leaguers, but you know, the inequity of it, the Cubs only have 1 big leaguer that was involved in the WBC. So they've been able to kind of get their act together a little bit differently.
Well, I don't think Ron Roenicke had any rooting interest, but he will tell you he is glad to get a couple of his starting pitchers back in camp this week, Gallardo and Marco Estrada, after Mexico was eliminated. Dodgers are still without Hanley Ramirez, and he'll be carrying on in the WBC, playing for the Dominican Republic team. 3rd season as the Brewers skipper, and back-to-back winning seasons in Milwaukee. A division championship in his first year, Ron Roenicke. The fact that the Brewers were able to turn it into a winning season, one of the more impressive feats last season. It looked like it was going to be a long year, and it was, until a trade that sent Zach Greinke to the Angels, and the Brewers, for some reason, caught fire, and Mike Fiers was a part of that.
Big shot in the arm. I mean, Mike Fiers and some of these young kids that were able to come up and make starts, Willie Peralta, Mark Rogers, guys like that, I think infused a bit of enthusiasm in the ball club, and they responded well.
Andre Ethier in a 2-2 count. A runner at first in Mark Ellis. And that one on the corner, called strike 3. Jordan Baker says so, and Ethier is Mike Fiers' first strikeout victim.
Yeah, big strikeout totals for Fiers a year ago. More strikeouts than innings pitched, and pretty much the same throughout spring training. That good changeup, the curveball, set up this fastball right on the corner. You can't walk it across any better than that.
Fiers a control pitcher, and Had great success with his off-speed stuff, his changeup. He doesn't have the overpowering fastball, but he had outstanding command and really surprised a lot of folks in the big leagues last year. It was a 2-month stretch where Fiers not only was one of the best rookie pitchers in the National League, he was one of the best pitchers flat out in the National League for a stretch from late May all the way into late July.
Yeah, his first 16 starts, Fiers had a 288 earned run average and kind of a rough finish to his season, but still in all very impressive.
Jerry Hairston Jr., the former Brewer, at the plate, hitting cleanup today for Don Mattingly's Dodgers. Hairston was a part of that division championship team in Milwaukee back in 2011. Now in the second year of a 2-year deal with the Dodgers. Well, this ball club is loaded, Los Angeles. They were very active in the Hot Stove League, acquiring Zach Greinke. And the pitcher today for Los Angeles, Hyunjin Ryu, is another guy that from international waters, from Korea, that they're very high on. He signed a multi-year contract as well. We'll get a good look at him today.
Yeah, to say nothing about what they did at the trading deadline last summer.
Fiers deals and a strike to Hairston.
You can just see as spring training moves along, these starters are starting to find their command, and that one right at the bottom of the strike zone. And if you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss, down in the zone. Cerveceros on the uniforms today.
2 balls and a strike on Hairston. Sounded like he broke his bat. Ricky Weeks is there, and Fiers gets his day started with a scoreless first. The Brew Crew coming up. We head to the bottom of the first. With a scoreless top of the first. Ron Roenicke with his right-hand man, Jerry Narron, his bench coach. And let's give you Ron Roenicke's starting lineup today. He's had to mix and match with all the players absent. This lineup brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Nori Aoki leads off. Gene Segura, then Carlos Gomez. Ricky Weeks hits cleanup, followed by the first baseman, Alex Gonzalez, and then Chris Davis. Bottom 3, Blake Lally, Bobby Crosby, and Mike Fiers will round it out. We're just now getting into the games where pitchers are hitting for themselves. At the designated hitter in a lot of these National League games the first couple of weeks. And Japanese-born Nori Aoki against Korean-born Hyunjin Ryu on the mound for Los Angeles. Let's set the Dodgers defensively behind Ryu. They are still without Carl Crawford. Crawford's going to be a little while, coming back from elbow surgery. Yasiel Puig will start in left, and Schumacher in center, Ethier in right. Uribe, Gordon, Ellis, and Hairston around the horn with A.J. Ellis, a man with Wisconsin ties behind the plate. Wearing number 99. They're hoping he's anything but the wild thing. Ryu, and one of the most famous baseball players to come from Korea, and for the first time an actual posting from the Korean Professional League. That means the Dodgers had to pay money to have the rights.
Boy, it must be nice to have the kind of money the Dodgers have been throwing around lately. Oh well. Well, Ryu, 7 years in the Korean leagues, very good numbers, a 280 earned run average. Just about every one of them starts, and 98 and 52 record over in Korea. Big left-hander.
Strike call in the corner. He's got a big fastball, and he rings up Nori Aoki.
Well, throwing pretty much right over the top, and that fastball just catches the outside corner. Not much Nori could have done with that one. See, right at the knees and on the corner. And a good pitch.
Now the Dodgers paid $25 million just for the rights to negotiate with Ryu from his team in Japan, or rather in Korea, and then signed Ryu to a multi-year contract that will pay him nearly $40 million. So you get the idea with the Dodgers and the way things have gone in their offseason. As Gene Segura steps in with one away.
Yeah, Ryu, a big man. He's 6'2", 255 pounds. He's 26 years old. And is part of a very good starting rotation for the Dodgers. Not too many holes in this Dodgers club. They're going to be good.
Segura takes a strike. Well, Gene Segura will have the first chance of his career to be a starting shortstop in the big leagues. He was involved in the trade for Zach Greinke, came from the Angels organization. And he looks like he is a burgeoning star.
Yeah, he's been swinging the bat very well, playing well defensively. He did a good job at shortstop last year, but I think he's really starting to find a comfort level at the plate. Hitting over 360 so far this spring.
Little flare out in shallow right, and Ellis is there for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for Ryu. Unfortunate news on Zach Greinke. They are calling it an abundance of caution, sending Greinke back to Los Angeles to have his left elbow examined, and they've already had an MRI done. There's no damage done, but Greinke was supposed to start here today, and there was, of course, a lot of fanfare with that as Carlos Gomez takes a strike. Ryu was to piggyback with Zach Greinke today anyway, so this is Ryu's scheduled day to pitch.
And just like Greinke, Ryu works very quickly. Didn't give you much time to say much about him. But Greinke, a little soreness in the elbow after his last bullpen session. The Dodgers, as you well imagine, be very cautious with him.
He is expected to return to Arizona this afternoon, so just a quick trip to LA as Gomez lines one to right field, a base hit. He has been on a tear this spring. Gomez came in batting .533 this spring, had a couple of hits yesterday to push his average over 500, and he is having some kind of spring training
and doing a lot of that, taking it to the opposite field. He's been taking his walks, he's been patient at the plate, and the Brewers are hoping that's going to continue once the season starts. Gomez looks good.
And Gomez has been running a lot. He stole 2 bases yesterday. Brewers yesterday played the Giants here and swiped a couple of bases off Matt Cain after he had a hit and a walk against the big right-hander from San Francisco, as Ricky Weeks takes a strike.
Every opportunity Gomez gets, he's going to try and take off. You know that.
Well, if you're interested in spring training records, the Brewers are 6-8 on the spring so far. The Dodgers are 6-6-3. Yes, they do have ties in the Cactus League, and the Dodgers have had 3 of them so far.
Yeah, you run out of pitching, you just lose interest. You can just say that's enough.
Either stop down or the wagon lost a wheel.
Right.
One of the two.
Yeah, we're done.
Brewer from the stretch. Gomez looks like he wants to run, and a throw over to first. As has been the case the last 2 spring trainings, Ron Roenicke has really pushed the envelope with the running game. Very aggressive on the base paths. He wants these players to find their parameters, to know exactly what they can and cannot do before the season starts. And he expects his players to, if they do choose to run or go from first to third, to go all out. Right. It's not just for the players, but also for the third base coach, Ed Cedar.
And you got to do that in spring training. Just can't have him be safe and play it safe during spring training. All of a sudden, once the season starts, flip the switch. It doesn't work that way.
Ricky Weeks fouls it back. No, Ricky Weeks, he'll be in a new spot in the batting order. Had a rough start to the season, but a great finish to the season, and the overall numbers ended up at 230 with 21 home runs for Ricky Weeks a season ago.
And the consensus was that ankle that he injured really bothering him early in the season, and Ricky's not the kind of guy that's going to say a whole lot.
There goes Gomez, throw to second in time. Ellis put it right on the bag. And Gomez caught stealing to end the first. We head to the second from Phoenix. On a Monday afternoon, spring training baseball from the Cactus League. Brewers Dodgers underway. Yeah, we talked about the number of players absent from Brewers camp. Some of those players are now coming back, but the USA continues to roll. Ryan Braun and Jonathan Lucroy. And these players from Canada all back in camp today. Martin Maldonado and Hiram Burgess continue on with Puerto Rico. Yeah, the Brewers proud to have so many players involved in the WBC, and one of those players is with Craig Kashawn. Hello, Craig.
All right, Brian, how you doing? And Giovanni Gallardo joining me now in the dugout, fresh back from Team Mexico. And I know things didn't quite go your way, but tell us about the experience. It had to be a pretty exciting experience for you.
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, it was a good time. You know, just to be around the guys we had on the team, and you know, just the whole different atmosphere than what we're used to in the beginning of March.
Well, you pitched on Friday night, and you were dialed in, pitched into the fourth inning. Just tell us what that experience was like. It's so early in the season. I think a lot of focus on the pitching because it can only go so far in these WBC games.
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, like I said, it was definitely exciting. You know, it's just one of those things that, like I said, I mean, we're here for spring training. Yeah. I mean, we're not used to having crowds that big and basically turning up the competition that early in camp, but. It was a good time. You know, it was a good time to be out there.
You know, for those who watch, the crowd, I think the walk-up alone must have been 10,000. Team Mexico really well represented. Just to have that type of atmosphere, was that a little mind-boggling for you? Did you expect that?
No, I think going into the game, I kind of, you know, expected that a little bit. You know, obviously, like I said, I mean, just that game against the U.S., we knew it was going to be 50-50 fans, if not, you know, but, you know, I think we had a little bit more Mexican fans than the U.S., but like I said, I mean, it's a great experience. You know, everybody was into it from the first pitch of the game to the last out.
And for the first time in your career, you faced Ryan Braun. What was that like for you? Obviously, the anticipation and stuff, but he was third batter in the first inning. What was that like for teammates?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Like I said, I mean, it's definitely weird. I mean, this is the first time I get to face him. I think I ever even threw to him here in spring training for dinner squads or live BP or anything like that. But it was fun. You know, like I said, just to have the opportunity to face a hitter that's that good. You know, they had a pretty good lineup, but they added a little bit more excitement, you know, just to get the opportunity to face one of your teammates.
Yeah, and of course, things didn't end the way you guys wanted to, and you know, obviously the fight with Team Canada and stuff, those types of things you don't want to see, but from a player's perspective, you just want people to be safe out there. What was that experience like? I'm sure there's never an anticipation like something like that happening in such an event.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, just like you said, I mean, we never rather be you know, a tournament like that or during the season. You never want a fight to break out. But yet again, I mean, like I said, I mean, that's how competitive, you know, all the teams are that early in the tournament. You know, it's just one of those things that's it's going to happen in baseball. But just like you said, I mean, it's just a matter of nobody getting hurt, and you know, we were able to. I'm pretty sure both sides were able to cool off there after the game, and you know, like I said, I mean, more than anything, I think there's you know, we all have teammates on different teams on different countries. I mean, the last thing you want to do is one of the guys that's going to be on your team for the whole year to get hurt.
Well, you're going to get back and pitch on Wednesday. Now the competition for the rest of this starting rotation will develop. Mike Fiers out there right now, and you basically have 5 pitchers vying for 4 spots right now, and a fairly young staff right now. Tell us a little bit about your perspective and how competition is, I guess, good for this club right now.
Yeah, it definitely is good. You know, like I said, we're pretty excited with the guys we have competing for those spots. You know, I think it's you know, they came up last year and did a great job for us, you know, in very important games, and we're in a good spot. You know, we're in a good spot for those guys. You know, like I said, you know, we all know what the Fiers did, Willie, you know, and the other guys that like Mark and Stinson, you guys started the last game of the season. But you know, it's like I said, I mean, it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to, you know, watching the guys go out there and compete for the remainder 3 weeks or whatever we have left of spring.
All right, you'll appreciate your time, and good luck the rest of the spring. Looking forward to opening day.
Thank you.
All right, that's Giovanni Gallardo, guys.
All right, Craig, thanks. As D. Gordon sends one to left field, they'll hold Ellis. So a lot of activity there during that interview, and it's great to hear Giovanni Gallardo is back. He'll pitch Wednesday, and we'll be back on Brewers television Wednesday night, so we'll get a chance to see Giovanni pitch. And just to circle back on the brawl between Canada and Mexico, I think that was the scariest moment for anybody associated with the Brewers, because you think about it, there were 6 Brewer players involved in that altercation between Canada and Mexico, and those guys are having a little fun with it today. Not a laughing matter, but Axford and Taylor Green and Giovanni Gallardo, I think they were all looking for each other.
Yeah, Taylor Green, I was talking to him today. He got a little sucker punch in the neck on the bottom of a big pile, but good that, you know, nobody really injured on that. I know the Brewers very happy that Giovanni and everybody else healthy through all that. You notice, with the haircut.
Yeah, he cut the locks off.
Cut the locks off a little bit. Of course, you know, he did pretty well with the long hair in the back, so we'll see. I guess he's not too superstitious.
Now, Gallardo did pitch very well against the United States, taking it into the 4th inning. Well, the bases are loaded here for the Dodgers. There was a costly error. Fiers trying to make it through this inning despite the error on Weeks. But 1 out has the pitcher Ryu up there. A left-handed thrower, but a right-handed hitter. Can't imagine that he has swung the bat too often in his career. And down he goes. Might as well be holding a plastic bat.
Right.
They use the DH in the Korean Professional League, so he's getting his first look as a hitter here in the United States.
Perhaps told, try and draw a walk. We don't want you hurting yourself.
Now that's the 2nd strikeout for Fiers, and back to the top of the order now and Skip Schumacher. By the way, we'll also see John Axford on Wednesday and possibly Jim Henderson, as they are back in camp, and I spoke to both today, and their next time up is going to be Wednesday night. Fly ball left field. Davis is there, and how about fires? Works through the air and strands the bases loaded. We head to the bottom of the second in the Cactus League today, the Brewers and the Dodgers. And a reminder, the countdown to Brewers opening day is on, and you can go for free with a Brewers 10-pack. Just call 414-902-HITS, 414-902-4487, or you can visit brewers.com/10packs today. Bottom of the second, Brewers coming up. Ricky Weeks was at the plate when Gomez was thrown out trying to steal. Mike Fiers does a nice job getting out of a bases loaded, nobody out mess. Comes up with another strikeout, retired the next three hitters in order, and the Dodgers leave the bases full. So Weeks back up there against Ryu.
And understanding the situation, you know, one of the four pitchers that are looking for those three spots, Fiers pretty pumped up after that final out, slapping the glove and walking off, and important stuff for these guys, even at this point in spring training.
And what was impressive about the inning, as you see Ryu and his signature changeup.
That's a dandy. Goes away from a right-handed hitter just a bit, but really pulls the string on that pitch.
And he backed him up, and it's 1-2 on Weeks. Fiers faced 6 batters last inning. It took him only 12 pitches to get through it. Oh, check that. That was a curveball.
And a little breaking pitch and good off speed, and it looks as though he has pretty good command of a fastball. There it is.
Right by Weeks. That is a pretty impressive repertoire from Ryu. And a strikeout, his second.
And change up, curveball, fastball up out of the zone, and Ricky swings right through it. Looks like he knows what he's doing out there.
Ryu signed a 6-year deal with the Dodgers. 6-year, $36 million deal with Los Angeles. Facing Alex Gonzalez, who gets the start at first base today. And that might be a spot we'll see him come opening day.
Yeah, he's been very good around first base. Not much of a surprise. I mean, he's just a good all-around baseball player, but footwork's been good. Got good soft hands on throws in the dirt. We'll see. He was a very good pickup in the offseason, backing up Gene Segura at short. And he looks good. He doesn't really seem as though he has much of a problem with that surgically repaired knee. He's moving around pretty good.
Gonzalez out to Ellis for out number 2.
Brewers would certainly like to have a left-handed bat to go along with Noriya Oki in that starting lineup, but the way it looks right now, it might not happen. So the Brewers are searching for some left-handed hitters on the bench.
Yep.
One of them is going to be Logan Schaefer.
Now the Brewers will carry 4 outfielders. Ron Roenicke saying earlier today, and we're going to visit with Ron a little bit later in our broadcast. But he was saying today he would prefer to carry 7 relievers, which would make 12 pitchers total, 5 starters, 7 relievers, but might be forced into carrying 8 relievers. It all depends on how things go the rest of the spring. So with such a young starting rotation, I think the bullpen obviously is going to be a big key for the Brewers, and we'll get the manager's thoughts about all of that a little later in our broadcast. Chris Davis up from the Brewers minor league camp. He is a 40-man roster player, and he's had a great spring training. He's hit 3 home runs in Cactus League play. That's a fair ball, went right over the bag, and an outstanding play by Uribe. And Davis is retired, and Ryu goes 1, 2, 3. Way to do it out here. Get a spot on the berm, take the shirt off, work on your tan. Spring training baseball from the Cactus League, and as tan as that guy is, he'll never be as buff and as tan as Craig Cashon.
Yeah, right.
So great to have Craig with us, and nice interview with Giovanni Gallardo, and we're looking forward to carrying on once again this year, and you're going to be doing some play-by-play, so we should turn it over to you for a
Well, yeah, I think I'll warm up my golden pipes and give yours a rest for a little bit here.
All right, sounds good.
All right, great stuff. I'm looking forward to the season and helping B and rock out up in the booth, and that'll all start a couple of weeks into the season.
Good seeing you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Looking good.
Good to be around here for the last few days. We've done several interviews with Brewer players, kind of banking them for our broadcast coming up on Fox Sports Wisconsin. We've got Skip Schumacher leading off the top of the 3rd for the Dodgers in a scoreless exhibition game here in Maryvale. And Mike Fiers back out on the hill for inning number 3. Really did a nice job getting out of a bases-loaded jam.
Yeah, it really wasn't his fault. I mean, the error, it should have been a double play, but was not. But he was able to, limit the damage to 0, which is not bad.
It's Mark Ellis up to the plate leading off this inning. Have to catch up on my scoring after that lengthy interview with Giovanni Gallardo.
Right, you need to look over here.
I'm going to look over there in just a bit, but I do have Mark Ellis in there right now. It is good to be on the air here in Maryville. There's no doubt about that. Fiers delivers, and another one fouled away.
It's been a relatively cool and wet spring so far for the Valley, but the temperatures today in the mid-70s is supposed to shoot up to 90 degrees by Thursday, so that's more like it.
I got to get out of Dodge for that, Rock.
You don't like that?
Going back to cover the Bucks tomorrow on Fox Sports Wisconsin tomorrow night. And there is a smash right up the middle, a base hit for Ellis, so he leads off the inning. Fans enter now for a chance to go to a game with the Fox Sports Wisconsin girls. To enter, text FS Wisconsin Girls to 234-234 or enter online at foxsportswisconsin.com, and you could win admission for 4 and join Bashara, Chana, and Sage when the Bucks battle the Lakers on March 28th. That is a big game, so enter now. So leadoff hitter on board for the Dodgers here in the third inning. That brings up Andre Ethier. He got caught looking back in the first inning, the first of 2 strikeouts so far for Fiers in the game.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the business. Andre Ethier, right fielder for the Dodgers, part of a very much improved offense for Los Angeles this year. It's going to be a pretty good battle in the West. I figure the Giants are going to be right there with the way they can pitch. The Dodgers have pretty much everything going for them. At least that's the way it looks on paper. We'll see.
And the Dodgers, you talked about it with BA early in the game about how this team is set up for big things. Payroll being $230 million this season. That is a major league record total. Imagine that. $230 million to work with. Ethier, high fly ball into left. Davis going back and makes the grab for the first out.
Okay, high sky here today. Not much of any cloud cover. There are a few scattered high clouds, but it makes it very difficult on pop-ups, fly balls. Very rarely you're going to see infielders or outfielders take their eye off the baseball and then try and pick it up again.
That brings up Jerry Hairston, who's over at first base today. Ethier, of course, the right fielder, and that part of that makeup of this team right now is the depth they have out in that outfielder. Matt Kemp, of course, will mind center field. And Crawford out left. Hairston, of course, can play infield and outfield. Very valuable to the Brewers, of course, in their playoff run a couple of seasons ago. Ended up signing a 2-year contract. This is the second of the 2 out here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he can play just about anywhere. A guy that you can play every day at a number of different positions. And will always give you a very good at bat. That's for sure.
One down here in the Dodger half of the third. Mark Ellis led off with a base hit. He's over at first base.
Had a pretty good sized lead over at first. Well, it's decent speed, nothing great. And Blake Lally behind home plate, who has big league experience with the Cubs for the Brewers, has been very impressive defensively. And he can swing the bat pretty well. A left-handed hitter.
You still have Martin Maldonado playing for Team Puerto Rico, and they're ready for their matchup with Team USA. Of course, Jonathan LaCroix over there. They're going to play tomorrow in Game 1 in Miami. That's the first thing the skipper Ron Roenicke said to all of us when he saw us this morning. How you doing? Well, wish I had my 2 top catchers back.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it difficult when you're not catching your starting rotation. They could very well miss, over 2 weeks. So that it's about the toughest spot to be without. I mean, both of your big league catchers not in camp.
And he's only guaranteed to maybe only get 1 back, because those 2 teams, of course, going head to head, so one's going to advance. 2-1 to Hairston, takes strike 2.
It's that fastball that has some jump at the end of it, and hitters will tell you it's tough to pick up. That arm angle, he brings it right from behind his back and makes it tough to pick up. And right on the corner.
Fiers checks the runner over at first. Spoke with Mike Fiers the other day about his finish to last season. We all know about that great start. Had to get over a hurdle with the months of August into September a bit. He still claims he finished strong, and did not feel fatigue.
Well, overall, it was a great season for him, and that's why he's in a position to be able to win a job in the rotation. He certainly deserves it. He deserves the shot.
The 2-2 to Hairston. Inside, works the count full. It's all about throwing strikes, though, for this guy.
Getting ahead in the count, most important for guys like Mike Fiers and Estrada. That way they can use that fastball up in the zone and have hitters chase it. When the hitters are ahead in the count, they're not going to chase that pitch. Trying to get it done with a catcher that they really haven't worked with a whole lot. There's a big lead for Ellis.
And he takes off. And a single into left field by Hairston. Ellis will have to hold at second base. So 2 hits here in the 3rd inning for the Dodgers.
Yeah, 3-2 fastball, middle in, and there's that Jerry Hairston again making contact. See that pitch trying to get in on his knuckles, but Hairston able to fight it off and dump it into left. Again, it's so important for pitchers like Fiers and Marco Estrada, you know, to be able to work ahead in the count and keep yourself out of a fastball count. 3-1, 2-0, 3-2 pretty much.
A.J. Ellis, the catcher. 2 aboard, 1 down for Los Angeles here in the 3rd inning. Takes ball 1. He got on base first back in the 2nd inning, but the Dodgers ended up leaving the bases loaded against Fiers, threatening here 1 inning later.
He was able to pick up Ricky after making that error to get him in trouble. And as we mentioned, fired up about getting out of that jam. He's into another one again. Looking to go 60 pitches today.
There's a strike from Fiers.
And he's pretty much in the mid-40s right now.
45 for Fiers coming up.
That's mid-40s.
Last I checked it was.
Good guess.
Inside. And it's important when you're down here and you're talking to these pitchers after you're in between starts. It's always that next one, get a little bit further, get a little bit further. A lot of people want to know about the progress of how pitchers go about their business here and get ready for big leagues. But every start they make, they want to get further and further along. This one put in play. Fiers looks at second, takes the easy out at first, 2 down. Runners advance to 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, barring a big blow up early in spring, I mean, this is about the time where organizations are going to start their evaluation process. Once you get to, get them into 60 pitch range and you get them into 4 innings, and now where the competition really starts to take hold. And there's a good change up by Fiers. Ellis tried to hold up, but not able to.
Fox Saturday Baseball returns with 3 great matchups as Angels outfielder Josh Hamilton returns to Texas to take on the Rangers. Or the Yankees battling the defending AL champion Tigers, and the Cardinals taking on the World Series champion Giants. A rematch of the NLCS. The debut of Fox Saturday Baseball is April 6th.
A lot of money both LA teams have thrown around the last couple of years, huh? Josh Hamilton now an Angel. Angels should be looking pretty good entering the season. Good pitching staff. They can hit.
Uribe into right field, and a great catch out there by Nori Aoki. He was on the run and covered a lot of territory, and Fiers gets out of another jam here in the 3rd inning. Nori Aoki in mid-season form in that outfield. And we are scoreless heading to the bottom of the third.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin. Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine.
Back in beautiful Maryvale, Florida. We go to the bottom of the third inning. The Dodgers and Brewers, no scores. The Brewers go to bat here. Blake Lally, the catcher for Milwaukee, will lead off the inning.
Hey, we're in Arizona, by the way.
What did I say?
Florida?
Did I say Florida?
That's what I thought I heard.
Did I? Brian's laughing at me. Brian's going to take over the mic here in a minute. Well.
It's all right. It's spring training
for us. You know
us.
what? We're out of Wisconsin. That's all I know.
It's spring training for us, too.
There's palm trees out here. The ocean's beautiful view. There's right up here from the booth. Wally to short, and this one's bobbled. And he will reach base. Gordon can't handle it. Time for our carsoup.com email the booth question. And today's question comes from Rebecca in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. How does the World Baseball Classic affect the Brewers' spring training?
It's affected it a lot. I mean, 13 players overall. Most of those have been plucked from the big league club. There's been, 3 minor league guys. And I think when you talk to Ron Roenicke, the biggest issue he has, and really nothing you can do about it, is the fact that both of his catchers, we've been talking about it so far, that both of his big league catchers are not in camp and not working with his pitchers that are going to be going to Milwaukee. And that's a tough thing. So you've got Blake Lally, you've got Robinson Diaz, and De La Rosa has been getting some opportunities behind home plate. So it makes a difference. You want your catchers and your pitchers establishing that rapport. The one good thing, though, is there's not a whole lot of surprises with Lucroy and Maldonado in the starting rotation. They know each other.
Well, Tapper in play, third base, and our first out as Uribe throws out Bobby Crosby. Wally advances to second base in scoring position.
It's that changeup again. It's a good one. And Crosby way out in front.
That'll bring up the pitcher. Mike Fiers can help himself here. If he can pick up a base hit, potentially to score the runner from second. This time he's going to lay a bunt down. And it's played by Ryu. Advances the runner to third, 2 down. Top of the order now, Nori Aoki. And he put together, of course, an outstanding season a year ago for Nori Aoki. Made the last out, of course, defensively a moment ago. But his bat certainly surprised a lot of people a year ago, especially as the season went on.
Right, you knew he was going to be able to hit, but I think his defense and his throwing arm were very good, and his 30 stolen bases, I don't think anybody thought that he was going to be able to rack up that many bags. But if you recall, he didn't get too many at-bats until about April, or I should say May. He was on the bench pretty much, and once he established himself as a leadoff hitter, he really took off. It was a big hits for the Brewers, and handles left-handers pretty well.
That was definitely a big bonus, handling that left-handed pitching. There's no doubt about that.
I recall it was a platoon in center field with Nigel Morgan and Carlos Gomez. Gomez hurt himself. Morgan wasn't able to get the job done. Lo and behold, Aoki, he stepped up and did a nice job.
Big swing and a miss on a 3-0 count. Had the green light.
Yeah, why not? Lefty versus lefty. Give him the green light, driving a run.
Aoki 270 a year ago against left-handed pitching and draws the walk. So good at bat for Aoki. Runners in the corners now, and 2 down. I'll bring up the shortstop, Gene Segura. And Gene Segura, after the trade, wasn't sure how much playing time he'd get. Went to the minors, of course, but quickly called up to the major league level. And really kind of got things going on his own very well. A strong finish, obviously, to the 2012 campaign.
Well, you think about when the Brewers brought him up, the fact that, you know, the Brewers, Milwaukee didn't really feel as though they were going to make much noise in the division. Brought him up to get his feet wet to see what he could do, and he really did a nice job. And the Brewers found themselves in the middle of a race where they were trying to catch that wild card spot. Gene Segura right in the middle of it, did a nice job defensively, and really looked like he felt his comfort zone at the plate later on. And keep in mind, he was in that number 8 spot, which is not an easy spot to, you know, get good pitches to hit. You're batting right in front of that pitcher. So in general, I think Gene Segura had a nice season last year.
This one in the dirt evens the count, a ball and a strike. Segura came over from that trade with the Angels on July 24th and made his major league debut on August 6th. Here's a look at the runners on base for Milwaukee. Lally over at third and Aoki at first. Little tapper in the infield. Segura's speed and nearly beats it out, but he is retired. So we are through 3. No score here in Maryvale. Top of the 4th. New rule in baseball this year, eliminating the third to first look. Rule of deception. Let's hear from umpire Jim Joyce on that.
Okay, now the rule is for runners at first and third, or even first, second, and third, that the pitcher, a right-handed pitcher, is no longer allowed to fake the third base and turn around and spin to first base. He is not allowed to fake a throw. His requirements are exactly the same as a left-handed pitcher is to first base now. If you take that rule for a left-handed pitcher when he throws to first base, you flip it around, and it's the same thing for a right-handed pitcher to third base now.
I love that rule. I think that is long in coming. That's been a balk in my mind from the first moment that you saw it, because, you know, the definition of a balk is a pitcher with the intent to trick the base runner. And what play in baseball does that more than to fake the third and go to first? You can do it, though, if you step off first.
Puig leading off the fourth inning, a base hit deep into the hole in left.
If you disengage your back foot off the rubber, behind the rubber, and then you do that, that's legal. But you can't do it while your back foot is still on the pitching rubber. And you see a leadoff base hit for the Dodgers.
They have had their leadoff hitter on in each of the last 3 innings now. No score here in the fourth. Well, one thing we found interesting in talking to pitching coach Rick Kranitz about that situation, it's now you have to adjust your defense a little bit. And that's something they've yet to implement here during spring training, but will definitely be addressing soon.
Yeah, that and the fact that that play never works. Out of 1,000 times you see it, how many times is it going to work? Once you get a guy at first base? Just a time waster, right?
That's part of the thought process. Here's D. Gordon with the runner at first base here in the Dodger fourth inning.
I'm not a big proponent of a lot of rule changes in baseball. I mean, the game's been played the same way, for over 100 years, and I'm not big on a lot of changes and things like that. I'll tell you, I'm the first guy to be balking at any type of changes in baseball, but I think that's a good one. I do.
Well, there aren't too many of those changes that take place. It's not like the NFL where the rules get adjusted year after year after year. It's just not that way in baseball.
Right. Well, they're also talking about, or at least there's a debate going on in baseball about collisions at home plate. I'm not a big fan of that rule either. Or the potential rule change, I should say.
D. Gordon awaits the 0-2 pitch from Fiers.
This is the guy the Dodgers are hoping is going to find his stride this year, D. Gordon, because he's a nifty shortstop and he's got tremendous speed, but he just has not been able to get on base enough. This is a guy that they would love to be a leadoff hitter.
Batting in the 8th spot here in this game. Takes the ball high. 1-2 to count to Gordon. Kind of a half swing there. Got a piece of that ball to stay alive.
And he was lucky to get a piece of it. Look at this. Talk about a knee buckler. Wow, way out in front and just barely able to stay alive. That's a very good curveball from Fiers. See where he made contact? That ball was almost in Lolly's glove.
D. Gordon getting some extra chances here to improve his status with this club, with Hanley Ramirez with the Dominican Republic team right now. So the Brewers not the only team affected by the WBC right now. A lot of teams affected, and as the WBC gets closer to semifinal play, some players returning, some players staying away. Big swing and a miss and a strikeout for Fiers.
There's that high fastball, and Fiers able to get it by Gordon up out of the strike zone. You see a lot of hitters chase that high fastball from Fiers over and over again.
So one down. And here's the pitcher, Ryu. And he will try to advance the runner.
Well, when you watch him out on the mound, he looks like he's pretty athletic. I mean, he moves around and is quick to home plate, but hitting is a different animal altogether.
Another bunt attempt, this time foul.
And you don't do it for just about your entire life. You don't hit, you go up in the big leagues and try and drop down the bunt. Even that can be tough.
But another reason why you like spring training. You can work on those things.
Work on those things for the first time ever.
For the first time ever, that's right. And he gets down a good one. Gonzalez will tag the runner, and 2 down. But he does his job as Puig advances into scoring position.
Pretty good technique. Check him out. You know, nice knee bend. He gets the ball get back into him a little bit too much, but hey, he got the job done. Kept the barrel of the bat up. Well done.
So 2 down here in the 4th inning. And Mike Fiers with a quiet bullpen ray down. Looks like he's going to finish out the 4th. Schumacher in the top of the order. Dodgers have had runners in scoring position each of the last 3 innings now, but have yet to plate a run. Mike Fiers has battled pretty well. High fly ball. And it's going to be Gomez, and he misplays it. And a run's going to come home. And Schumacher into second base. That sun getting in his eyes, had a long way to run. It was a shallow hit ball in the right field.
Yep, and Aoki had it easily. Gomez on his horse, and he just whiffed it. That's going to be another error from Milwaukee. Brewers made 3 errors yesterday, and now have 20 errors already this spring. And this the 15th game for the Brewers. I don't know if that was a sun issue or not, but Gomez certainly should have had that.
So Los Angeles takes a 1-0 lead. Mark Ellis bats with Schumacher out at second base. He winds up out there after the error on Gomez. This one's fouled straight back and above us here in the press box. A lot of people in this booth, but no protection on that one.
Not just you. You're going to catch him, right?
Yeah. Got you covered.
You know, I'm not.
You're done catching.
Barehanded.
Other one fouled away. Well, 2 errors in this game, and obviously extra pitches, I should say, for Mike Fiers in this game.
Nice vantage point here in the home television booth right behind home plate. Best seat in the house.
You got that right.
And a good crowd today.
Nice window out our office, right?
Yeah.
High and tight, 2-2.
Notice you don't see too many people around those guys. Looks like a rough group.
That could be nighttime security during the day here. They'll be working later tonight somewhere.
Yikes.
For somebody.
They are all by themselves.
Yeah, you can't beat. This is what makes spring training very special, though. The lawn seats out in the outfield.
You come in here for less than $10. You get your blanket out, have a couple of beers, and enjoy the Arizona sun.
The 2-2 again. And this one lined into left field, and it is a base hit all the way to the wall. Another run comes home in Schumacher for LA, and the Dodgers now grab a 2-0 lead.
Ellis centered on that pitch. It was down in his zone and right down the middle. Check it out. And Ellis jumps all over it into the gap and able to score the second run. Skip Schumacher, who reached on that E8. So 2 unearned runs against Mike Fiers in this inning.
That'll bring up Ethier. Making his third plate appearance in this game. And hits it hard, but foul down the right field line. Fiers continues to work out on the mound, trying to get the final out here in the 4th inning, and that will likely end his day as his pitch count past 60 now.
Yeah, they were looking for 4 innings or 60 pitches, and I got to believe he's over 60 at this point. Activity down in that Brewers bullpen. This might be it for him.
High fly ball. Crosby makes the final out, and Fiers escapes but gives up 2 unearned runs.
Bottom 4 here at Maryvale, home of the Brewers. 2-0 Dodgers, and on Sunday, April 7th, the Brewers take on the Diamondbacks at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance will get a Nori Aoki bobblehead courtesy of Robert Hack Diamonds. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
Bottom of the 4th we go here in Maryvale, and Carlos Gomez will lead off the Brewer half of the 4th inning. His error in the top half of the 4th led to 2 unearned runs, and that's the score we have right now. 2-0 Dodgers leading the Brewers. Rue back out on the mound for Los Angeles.
Very impressive changeup from Ryu. I mean, it's a good pitch. He's not afraid to throw it at any count. Good breaking ball and locates the fastball. It looks like a pretty good one. Nice fluid delivery right over the top.
A couple of strikeouts in this game for the Korean pitcher. He's given up 2 hits to Milwaukee. And Gomez draws a leadoff walk.
Another thing he's been doing a very good job of. Taking pitches, getting on first base. Let's see if you can figure out the move of the left-hander out there, Ryu. Ryu very quick to home plate. Last time Gomez tried to steal, didn't get a very good jump and got thrown out.
That happened back in the first after Gomez singled, so this is his second time on the base paths. That'll bring up Ricky Weeks. Ricky struck out back in the second inning. Hits it hard to center field and to the wall, leaping, and it is out of the ballpark. No. Weeks on a move. Gomez coming in to score, and he slides into third for a triple.
Oh, that looked like it went over that yellow line.
It was very close.
If it goes over the yellow line, it's a home run. And Ron Roenicke on his way out to have a chat with the first base umpire over there. I think it's Steven Barga. Now let's check it out. Where's it hit? Nope, it's a good call. Right on the line. It's amazing you can see that far, but that's a good call. Right in the middle of that pad. And Ricky Weeks in with a triple. Missed a home run by maybe a couple inches.
Well, he hit that ball hard, and it plates a run, so Milwaukee cuts that lead in half with one swing of the bat.
I didn't think there's any way that ball is going to stay in his ballpark. He crushed that pitch.
There is no replay system in these spring training games, so Ron just wanted to make sure they saw it right.
Maybe you should go down there and say that was a good call, Ron. He got it right.
When I go back down next half inning, I'm sure he'll ask me. Pop up in the infield for Gonzalez for the first out here in the fourth inning.
Can't get much closer to a home run than that.
Boy, that was a rocket.
I mean, that's what you see every day in batting practice for Ricky Weeks. Baseballs that are hit look like a 1-iron. You know, you're a golfer. 1-iron. I don't know.
You
if
got that right. No, the 1-iron.
I can't hit a 1-iron, but I mean, if I
can't
could,
either. But Ricky can.
It would look like that. I mean, he just smokes them.
Speaking of a guy who can smoke a home run, Chris Davis has certainly done that here during the spring so far. 3 home runs for Davis, and no cheapies from what I understand.
No, and he's got one against Team Canada. So he has been very impressive, opening up some eyes. A guy that is pretty much restricted to left field, from what we've been told. He's got good speed. He handles himself well in the outfield, and he's been swinging a good bat, getting an opportunity here today. That's the one thing that I think is nice about the WBC, and if you want to find a silver lining to the big boys being out, giving opportunities to kids like this and show what they can do. We've seen a lot of the Brewers minor league system, and they've got some good talent.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and there's always a silver lining to what happens in spring. I mean, you battle through early spring injuries. It gives somebody else a chance to step up, creates maybe more competition. You see that every spring, though, don't you? Whether it's pitchers or position players.
Look at a couple of years ago, Marco Estrada, because of the Zach Greinke injury. Where would Marco be without that Greinke rib injury, right?
Absolutely.
You get the opportunity and you take advantage of it, and he did.
You know, Marco, talking to him yesterday about the opportunities he's had to step forward and shine, and now a chance perhaps to be a starter in that rotation. He said, all my chances have come by luck, and then once you get those chances, you have to take advantage of them. With the infield drawn in, a base hit, and that'll bring in Ricky Weeks, and that'll tie the game up at 2-2.
That stayed back nicely on that changeup. You tried to pull the string on the youngster, and he waited back just enough to roll it into center field off the end of the bat, going away from him, and because of the drawn-in infield, not able to get there.
Talked about Davis's power, also batting .300 in his opportunities, so a base hit and an RBI for him. RBI number 8 in the spring for Davis. That brings up the catcher now, Lally, who singled back in the 3rd. And on the move is Davis, and he makes it into second base. Stolen base for Davis. He's in scoring position.
That ball in the dirt, you could see him a little bit of a shuffle step, and I'm not sure if that was a delayed steal or maybe he took off on the ball in the dirt. Not sure what it was, but good base running.
Good piece of hitting, good base running by Davis so far. So he's out at second base. One down still here in the 4th inning. Brewers have tied this game with 2 runs. Holly a year ago in the Cubs organization, only playing in 6 big league games. And in the minor league system, he was with Sacramento. In the Oakland A's organization.
Yeah, Brewers like him. He does a lot of things very well. He's a smart player. Very good defensively behind home plate. And he can hit. What's not to like?
And to left field, this will fall for a base hit. Davis comes around and scores, and the Brewers grab the lead 3-2.
That's just a good piece of hitting by Blake Lally. A tough lefty out there. He's 2 for 2 against Ryu today. And check him out. He's just trying to put the bat on a baseball. Fastball away, gets on top of it, and just able to dump it in front of the left fielder. And another run comes across. I'm not even going to mess around with that name in the left field. What is that?
Castellanos. And they're coming out and having a meeting on the mound and taking a look at Ryu. Looks like they brought a trainer out as well. Translator. We're used to seeing more of the trainers coming out and following the manager, the pitching coach,
right.
But of course they need a translator as he comes over from
complicated
Korea.
game these days. It really is.
Kosuke Anaji, of course, is Nori Aoki's translator here with the Brewers organization.
Kosuke's been with the team for a while now.
Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, came out, of course, as well. So they all communicated, and Ryu stays out. 1 down here in the 4th inning, 3 runs plated by Milwaukee so far. Bobby Crosby with a runner over at first base. That's Blake Lally.
Now, where do you think the name of the translator would be in the media guide? I'm trying to find what kind of
go to the index under translator.
What category would that be under?
That's all I can think of. Crosby strikes out for the 2nd out. And that'll bring up Murphy, a pinch hitter now for the pitcher Mike Fiers, whose day is done. Donnie Murphy trying to make this Brewer club as well as a utility man.
can't have too many guys on your team that can play shortstop. I mean, Donnie Murphy, a very good utility guy. I think the Brewers would like to throw him in the outfield before the end of spring to see if he can maybe go out there and eat up a couple innings. Be ideal if he was a left-handed hitter, but he's not. He's had good success in the big leagues.
Yeah, Murphy with the Miami Marlins a year ago. And of course with Segura coming in to play shortstop this year for Milwaukee. Part of the thinking on who you're going to sign for that infield, you definitely want someone at shortstop.
Right.
Just in case.
Well, the Brewers know they're going to have Alex Gonzalez, but he could very well be the first baseman to start the year until Corey Hart comes back, which is looking better and better all the time. Corey's looking about, beginning of May.
Yeah, Corey got the green light on Friday to resume physical activity now following that surgery. And of course, he'll tell you he could probably come back sometime in April, but just getting started, you won't know. You got to play it safe for now. Runner goes, pop up, shallow right field. And this will be the final out here in a successful fourth inning for Milwaukee. Ricky Weeks, a booming triple. And Milwaukee grabs a 3-2 lead. Brian Anderson coming in next.
Maryville, Ricky Weeks with a booming RBI triple, part of a 3-run bottom of the fourth. The Brewers now have the lead over the Dodgers. And Rock, how about Mike Fiers today? Managed to get himself out of some jams. I think most importantly, able to go 4 innings and 70 pitches.
Well, most of the jams that he was in was, lack of defense. Brewers are not turning a double play. Should have gotten out of the inning where he gave him a couple of runs. But overall, very good. No walks, 3 punch outs for Mike. And looked very good, and he threw almost 70 pitches or thereabouts, and he was expected to go only 60 today. So a good job by Fiers here this afternoon.
And it'll be Jesus Sanchez now out of the Brewers bullpen, a converted catcher, now trying to make it to the big leagues as a pitcher. Put up a fantastic year in the Brewers minor league system last year combined. Went through a couple of levels of the Brewers system last year, and he'll get his chance here today as we head to the 5th inning. 3-2 Milwaukee. Craig Kashawn on his way back down to the Brewers dugout, so we'll start to bring you some player interviews as they wrap up their day at spring training. Nobody goes 9 innings here at this point of the camp, except for Bill Schroeder.
Except for the coaches. Boy, coaches have very long days in spring training. Most coaches show up about 6:30, 7 in the morning, and they stay well after games. They have meetings after games. Sometimes they don't get home until 7 at night. So you always talk about the players can't wait for spring training to end. I think you talk to the coaches, they'll tell you their day's a lot longer.
Terry Hairston Jr. sends that one into the seats. There's Johnny Nairn, the Brewers hitting coach. All of the Brewers coaching staff returning this year. That continuity continues. And it's so important to build a winning organization to have continuity. Rick Kranitz, the Brewers pitching coach, he's got the clicker on his left hand. Just keeping a close eye on that pitch count. Sanchez, a hard thrower. And just misses outside to Hairston. Garth Orge, his son Cale, was playing on the WBC team for Canada. It was a great thrill for him.
Yeah, Garth in very good shape coming into spring training this year. He said that he worked hard and dropped some weight and feels good, looks good.
Not just the players saying they're in the best shape of their lives.
Right.
Hairston rips one to center field. Gomez right there. And one gone for Sanchez here in the fifth.
You know, we talk about how long spring training is this year. It's particularly long because of the WBC. Ron Roenicke, he does a nice thing with the coaches. He'll give a coach a day off from time to time. Each guy will get a non-team day off. A coach, he'll let him stay home and just hang out with the family. And there's Johnny Nairn. He's at it in the batting cages at about 7:30 every morning. He says he's got a line waiting to get into that cage. John Shelby, assistant coach, hitting coach, who actually gets to stay in the dugout this year.
Yeah.
So T-Bone Shelby is no longer banished to the clubhouse. He's able to see the light of day this year.
Yeah, he was part of that World Championship Dodgers ball club, 1988. He was the starting center fielder for the Dodgers. You remember the Kirk Gibson, one of the more famous home runs in the history of baseball. T-Bone still has that World Championship ring. He said he likes to break it out when the A's come to town.
Right. Give him the business a bit.
2-0 pitch to Ellis, and a hot shot past Crosby down into the corner. And A.J. Ellis on his way to second base as it rattles around down there. Ellis thought about third, but the slow-moving catcher will settle for a double. 2 hits today for the Dodger catcher. And with one out, Ron Uribe coming up. Let's send it down to Craig Kashawn making quick work. He's got Mike Fiers. Craig?
All right, thanks a lot, guys. And Mike, close to 70 pitches in this game today. Escaped a couple of jams, couple of errors as well. But tell us a little bit about what you thought, how things went today.
Well, today was just about getting out there and getting more innings under my belt and more pitches. Getting ready for the season. You got to gradually build up your innings and pitches, and today was just about doing that and working on all my pitches and getting outs as well. So accomplished that today.
How about as far as the progress of your pitches and what you're satisfied with so far? Tell us how spring has gone for you, and obviously it is a process, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a process for a pitcher. I mean, just having a limited amount of pitches every start you have, and just trying to work on all your stuff as well. I mean, you have a pitch count, but you also got to work on your pitches. So just going about the same way I would in the regular season, but you're just limited a little bit. So just to get out of here after 4 innings and having felt good throwing, and in the past games before this, I felt good, just gradually building up. So I felt good.
Explain what this competition is like within your staff right now for the starting spots. A lot of you guys coming up through the organization. That's good to have that depth, obviously. But what's it like to compete with friends as well?
Yeah, it's always tough to be friends with people, but also competing for a job, and it's you're competing for a job every day, and you got to show everyone what you can do. And but I'm not trying to worry about what they're doing too much. I mean, I got to worry about what I got to do and get my job done and be ready for the year. And if they think I'm ready for the year and I can start in Milwaukee, then I'd be grateful of that. But just now, just getting ready for the year.
Tell us next start now. What would be the next natural progression for you as far as pitch count, trying to get to which inning next?
They probably add about 10 more pitches to what I threw today, and so maybe 5 innings, 6 if I can get to there, and go from there. And then probably about when the season starts, I'll probably be at 100, 95 to 100 pitches to get that started.
All right, Mike, appreciate it, and good luck to you. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Mike Fiers, guys.
All right, Craig, thanks. Good to see Mike Fiers, and he pitched well today. And Fiers had a big off season, knowing this was a big season for him. He's been working out with a high school team down in Deerfield Beach, Florida, Zion Lutheran, with his buddy Mike Dobre, and he wanted to send along his best to the high school baseball team there at Zion Lutheran. Mike lives in Pompano Beach, Florida now, and great opportunity for him, and he really showed well last year for the Brewers when they needed a starter from the minor leagues to come through.
Yeah, he came up in Los Angeles, actually, and the Brewers were thinking one, maybe two starts, but ended up staying the entire season, and he earned it. He mentioned he hopes he's with the team when it goes to Milwaukee. I don't think that's an issue.
No. Now you figure if he's not in the rotation, he'll
be in a pen.
Certainly be in the bullpen, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think anyway.
Alex Castellanos is batting. This is his first at bat. Yasiel Puig was the starter in left field, and then he was removed last inning. Haven't gotten an update on why that was. Puig did deliver a couple of hits in his first two at bats. Normally when you see a change that early, it could be an injury situation. But for now, Castellanos in left. Sanchez comes inside a ball.
The Dodgers are hitting this spring. They lead the Cactus League as a team in batting average, over 300. Everybody up and down that batting order putting together some pretty good at bats.
Well, they figure they're going to swing the bats. They certainly have an all-star lineup, just about an all-star at every position this year. Matt Kemp collected his first hit of the spring yesterday. Not in the lineup, not on the travel roster for Don Mattingly today. Brewers will see the Dodgers twice before the All-Star break. Going to Los Angeles at the end of April and then mid-May at Miller Park. In the air, left field line. That is hooking, and it is foul into the Dodger dugout. Last year, the Brewers owned the Dodgers. They won 6 out of 7 against Los Angeles last season.
They swept them in L.A., right?
The sweep in L.A. and the Fiers jump-started that series in Los Angeles.
That was a 4-game sweep. Second road trip of the year, 3 in San Diego and then 3 in L.A.
In late April. Ellis at second, the 2-2. And it misses upstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Castellanos.
We talked on our broadcast open of the impressive arms that the Brewers seem to have in spring training this year. And Sanchez, one of them. He throws in the mid-90s with a good slider.
Another one hooked foul. Davis will watch this one into the Dodger bullpen. Yeah, you said it right out of the open of our broadcast that the velocity coming out of this Brewers system is what has jumped off the page at you. The Brewers have been able to showcase some big arms, and I think that's why there is so much optimism right now. There aren't the names that you can attach to. They don't have the sexy names that, you know, have had a lot of big league experience, but a lot of talent. There's a swing and a miss. Sanchez with a nasty hook. Castellanos down on strikes. Impressive inning for Sanchez. Back at Maryville Baseball Park, West Phoenix, Arizona. Great crowd today, and great to have you with us this afternoon. Our first spring training telecast of 2013. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder and Craig Cashon. And looking at the mound here, going to do a little maintenance on the mound as Ryu went out, and something not quite right.
It's been okay throughout the game, but all of a sudden Sanchez in the game, and going to need a little bit of assistance fixing up the pitching rubber.
Now the Brewers glad to have a number of their players back from the WBC. Team Canada and Team Mexico eliminated, so the Brewers getting 6 players back in camp from the WBC. One of those players, Marco Estrada, we had a chance earlier to hear his comments on participating for Team Mexico.
To me, it meant the world. Something that I've always wanted to do, and finally getting the opportunity to do it, you know, it meant everything to me. You know, we're very proud people, and you know, to have Mexico across your chest just meant a lot to me and my family and my friends. So it was really fun. It was exciting. It was short-lived, unfortunately, but it was a lot of fun.
Marco Estrada, one of the many participants in the World Baseball Classic. Estrada and Giovanni Gallardo participating for Team Mexico, both born in Mexico, raised in the United States. But the Brewers, although they had a lot of players, and it has put a lot of stress on the manager and the coaching staff trying to organize spring training, Rock.
Right.
I think it's a very proud organization to have this many players involved in the WBC.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you know, you have some pretty good talent when you're talking about, you know, the national teams are a good thing. I mean, it's a good and bad thing. It makes it a little bit more difficult to get your team ready for the season. But again, as you talk about, it's kind of a badge of honor to have an organization that has the most players involved in the WBC than any other major league team.
I've been into it. It's there've been some thrilling games, and I think that bench clearing brawl certainly created the one moment, the memorable moment in the WBC throughout its run. Gives you some of the passion that's going on here. Well, it looks like the mound is going to require a little more work than we thought. Ryu is not pleased with the way it's setting up, so the grounds crew is out. We'll take a break. We'll get back at it in a moment.
Play here in Maryvale. Jim Ryu had complained that the dirt right in front of the rubber was too hard, so the grounds crew came out with a hammer to soften up that dirt a little bit. So I was talking to one of the umpires that came in to take a break in here and get a drink of water, and he said that actually is not as uncommon as a request as you might think it is. So just so happened to delay our game by a couple of minutes here, but that's what they're taking care of. You know, grounds crew in spring training mode, getting ready for mid-season mode, I guess, guys.
Yeah, going with the heavy machinery there, the old hammer to do the trick.
That's head groundskeeper John Sheehan out there here at Maryville. And you never know what is going to be asked of you as a groundskeeper, you know. I mean, you know, beat up a the area in front of home plate, or I should say the pitching rubber. There's not a specific tool for that.
Well, the back of the hammer worked just fine, and we're set to play again here. Brewers lead at 3-2. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 4th inning after the Dodgers had scored twice in the top of the 4th. Back to the top of the order. And Nori Aoki to lead off against Ryu. And the Dodgers trying to get 5 innings out of Ryu, although he pitches in this inning with activity in the bullpen. So maybe they're just trying to get him to a specific number on the pitch count. Hyunjin Ryu out of Korea. And boy, if he has any success at all with the Dodgers, is he going to be some kind of star? They say he's a great personality, and obviously the language barrier has cut into what he can do, but he's been a little frustrated by the fact that he can't initiate the conversation. But the best description for Ryu, for those who know him and have scouted him, as you see Wall getting loose for the Dodgers, is that he is a Korean David Wells.
Yeah, well, I don't see the curveball that David Wells had, but Wells had no changeup like that one. He's got a good one.
2-2 to Aoki. Slaps it on the ground to Uribe. And there's out number 1.
Hey, residents of Milwaukee, Ozaki, Racine, Washington, and Waukesha counties, you can purchase half-price tickets to Brewers games versus the Pirates and Cardinals April 29th through May 3rd. Some restrictions apply. Save 50% on tickets at brewers.com/5county. The Dodgers have always had kind of the unique ability to come up with very popular pitchers that are not from the United States. Remember Fernando Valenzuela, Hideo Nomo, Chan-Ho Park.
Yeah, Fernando Mania. We saw Fernando in the WBC. He was one of the coaches for Team Mexico. And you could probably safely say that Ryu is the most famous Korean pitcher to play here in the States since Chan-Ho Park did, who was a Dodger product to begin with. Segura bounces out for out number 2. 2 6-3 putouts for Ryu. I remember Chan-Ho Park when he came up. I actually was in San Antonio as a minor league broadcaster when he first came to the States. And he made his Dodgers minor league debut. Things didn't go well for him that first year. So we're going to have a pitching change here as Ryu hits his pitch limit. And Don Mattingly got some good innings from his big left-hander. We'll take a break, set up the new hurler, and we continue. Now Dodgers making some changes here as they bring on Josh Wall to take over for Ryu. Brian Barden now at third base. And that moves Sellers over to the shortstop position. And the big right-hander Josh Wall, who spent last season in AAA Albuquerque in the PCL.
Yeah, he made 55 appearances out of the Albuquerque bullpen. He did spend a little bit of time with the Dodgers. 7 games and a 476 earned run average. He's 6'6", 220 pounds.
And he'll take over with 2 outs. Nobody aboard. Carlos Gomez at the plate. Ryu goes 4 2/3 for the Dodgers today. He was impressive. I like his stuff. Showed a very good changeup.
And he throws them all for strikes.
This Dodger team is going to be tough. They have some of the best pitchers in the big leagues on their rotation, with Clayton Kershaw at the top of their rotation, the Cy Young Award winner. And then you've got Greinke, followed by Ryu. Chad Billingsley coming back from an elbow injury. Josh Beckett is supposed to pitch tomorrow for the Dodgers. And then you still have Chris Capuano, Aaron Harang, Ted Lilly, all part of the mix there with
pretty deep, aren't they?
With the Dodgers. I figure there's going to be some trading going on with the Dodgers and some other teams here before camp ends. As Gomez strikes out, Wall punches him out on a breaking ball, and that's that for the Brewers in the home fifth. They go in order. 5 in the books at Maryvale, 3-2 through. Brewers make some changes here. Typically after the third at-bats, you'll start to see some changes. That's Scooter Gennett taking over at second base for Milwaukee. Brewers lead at 3-2 as we head to the 6th inning. Chris Davis remaining in the game in left field. And a new center fielder here. Gomez is out. Caleb Gendel is in. And Nori Aoki out as well. That is Josh Prince. And Rock, a new pitcher for the Brew Crew, left-hander, signing as a free agent and going to be a big part of that bullpen, left-hander Mike Gonzalez.
Yeah, had great numbers with the Nationals a year ago at 3.03 earned run average and 47 appearances all out of the bullpen. And no record. Gonzalez, one of 2 lefties that Ron Roenicke is going to have in his bullpen. Tom Gorzolani, the other.
The Brewers did a lot of work to bolster their bullpen this offseason. Gonzalez, Gorzolani, making a trade with the Rays for Burke Badenhop, who has pitched very well this spring. There you see the numbers with the Nationals last year for the left-hander Gonzalez. A former closer in the big leagues. And he'll probably be the left-handed setup for Ron Roenicke. Got Jim Henderson, who will get a chance to set up for John Axford this year. Axford, the established closer. And then Gonzalez and Henderson will have the 8th. Justin Sellers at the plate for the Dodgers. Now playing shortstop after an inning at third base. 3-2 Brewers. All of the runs coming in the 4th. Didn't miss by much.
You can see Lally setting up inside. The slider just missing the edge. Pretty good pitch.
And he popped him up. Scooter Gennett is back. And the first out of this 6th inning. Gennett replacing Ricky Weeks, who is standing by in the Brewers dugout with Craig Cashon.
All right, Brian, thanks very much. And Rick, appreciate you sticking around here. This is about the time of game where the dugout about half empties right now, but you had good three at bats. And talk about that near home run you hit, the triple for the RBI. It was close.
Oh yeah, it was close, but spring training, just want to get your work in, and results come later, I guess. But for the most part, seeing time come around, you might want to replay or something like that. But I know it wasn't a homer, but just one of those things where it kind of make you feel good if it was a homer.
How has spring gone for you? You've been obviously through this routine numerous times. What's special about this spring for you and this team right now?
The biggest thing is that we're all kind of optimistic right now, just from our second half last year, and we got some young guys coming in, the pitching staff, and they've done a great job so far throwing strikes and trying to get us deep into ball games. So I think the biggest thing for us right now is try to work those those pitchers in, try to get them ready, and get everybody ready as well.
It's a little bit different with the WBC going on right now, that so many of your really teammates that you've been around the last couple of years especially are scattered about right now and still not with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. We had, I think it was 13, 14 guys go to the WBC, but half the guys probably came back in the past couple of days. But I think it's been a little different just because of a lot of those guys, they're a big part of our club, and to see them go off for a while, that kind of takes away from our camaraderie. But once they get back, it's the same old. That's where our clubhouse is.
It's becoming a familiar ring to you that I think you'd like to end right now, is having a new shortstop combination out there. Gene Segura will enter this year as your new starting shortstop. You got a chance to see each other and play with each other towards the end of last year, but 5 years in a row now, a brand new shortstop.
Right. That's just the name of the game, I guess. Turnover, I guess. But I think Siggy, he's here to stay. He's a guy. He's got great talent over there. He knows how to pick it, and the guy can especially swing the bat. So I'm looking forward to working with him. Keep going here and try to see what he's good at, see what I'm good at, things like that, and try to keep working together. But so we're ready to work together. Plain and simple.
How do you take a leadership role and help a guy like that? Because it seems to me that he's a student of the game and works about as hard as anybody. But how do you take your leadership role to make sure that he's doing what he needs to do here entering his first full year?
Well, I think the fundamentals of the game, he already has that down. But a lot of times when you got a young guy coming up, it's a small parts, small thing of the game. Who covers the bag? Just small things. When it comes to coverage and just knowing when to do something and knowing not to do something. So, just here and there, he asks me questions, and I got to give him some answers, and that's what we do.
All right, Rick, appreciate your time.
I appreciate it, Craig.
All right, Ricky Weeks, guys.
All right, thanks, Craig. Nice play, Bobby Crosby. Beauty to get Brian Barton for out number 2. A former shortstop showing his range there.
Yeah, going back, kind of angling back a little bit to be able to get a better hop. And I'd say he did a nice job spinning around. You see the way he angles back to try and get a decent hop. Didn't want that short hop. Able to grab it, knew he had time, and made a nice throw to first base.
Now 2 up, 2 down here for Mike Gonzalez. Good to hear from Ricky Weeks. He's had a nice spring training so far. Hitting over 300 and has a home run, now a triple. Had a triple and an RBI today.
I think the biggest thing for Ricky, he didn't say it, but I think he's feeling 100% right from the beginning. He was battling through that ankle problem last year. That lasted well into the season, and he's had the wrist injuries and all kinds of things that have been giving Ricky some problems, but not this spring.
And it was interesting talking to Ron Roenicke, who suffered the same injury when he was a player. And, you're wondering, how does an ankle injury a year later affect a guy at the plate? And Roenicke made a good point, and Ricky confirmed it, that, that was his tap foot, his left foot, which is his timing mechanism. And he never really quite got the timing back until that ankle healed.
And your plant foot when you're swinging and throwing the baseball, the feet and, that's involved in a lot of things that you really don't think about. Planting at second base, making throws.
That was a gruesome ankle injury that he suffered at the end of the 2011 season. Rehabbed the entire offseason and had a rough first half for the Brewers. But Roenicke stuck with him, and Ricky Weeks had a great second half. He really looked like the hitter that made him an all-star in the second half of last season. And I think that's what was so encouraging. He was a big part of why the Brewers were able to fight their way back into the race offensively. Brewers ended up leading the league in runs scored and home runs and stolen bases a year ago. Nothing wrong with the offense.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a rare combination, leading the league in home runs and stolen bases. Not too many teams do that.
Schumacher gets sawed off. Fly ball, center field. The sun is tough out there, and that's going to fall between Prince and Gendel, and Schumacher is into second base with a sun double.
Yeah, Schumacher hit the baseball to Gomez that opened up that fourth inning. So rough sun field in center. Usually it's the left fielder that has the biggest problem. Gendel really never saw that baseball. Josh Prince tried to get over there, but a little bit too late.
Now, Prince is one of the fastest players in the organization, and if he can't get it, nobody can get it. And you see a lot of that, actually, when you have conditions like today. Hardly a cloud in the sky. They call it the high sky, and it makes big league outfielders look very amateurish at times. No harm done, though. Gonzalez gets Ellis. Side retired. Good inning for the left-hander. 3-2 Brewers. It wouldn't be a baseball game for the Brewers without the sausage races. And man, look at the Italians. Impressive today. Hey, Milwaukee outfielders Caleb Gendel and Chris Davis have been opening eyes this spring. But will the Brewers have enough room to keep either player on the opening day roster? You can get the latest from Andrew Grumman, including full position previews at foxsportswisconsin.com. Ron Roenicke, we will hear from the skipper next half inning. Have a half-inning interview with the third-year manager. Kind of get you caught up on all things Brewers, at least in spring training. Scooter Gennett's going to lead off. Wall is back on the mound. Dodgers have made a number of changes. As Gennett gets his first at-bat of the ball game. By the way, the Brewers are in their Service Saros jerseys today, something they do every spring, and just in recognition of the Hispanic heritage. Do it, of course, in the regular season as well. Always a popular day here at Maryville Baseball Park.
Yeah, first game the Brewers have worn the white home jerseys. They're using the blue BP tops.
Scooter Gennett, one of the top second base prospects in all of baseball. He participated in the Futures game last year. And he is a very talented young player. We've seen a lot of him this spring. He's an excellent hitter.
Yeah, he can hit.
As right on cue, he strikes out. Put that on him.
But he can hit.
He can. Trust us. One gone in the inning.
We've seen him the last couple of years. Hey, for Slate Monday home games, fans can purchase Terrace Reserve seats for just $9. That's courtesy of Miller High Life. Visit Brewers.com/High Life. Offer excludes, of course, opening day.
So Jeanette strikes out. One gone. Here is Alex Gonzalez. Well, Josh Wall has good stuff. He's faced 2 batters. He has 2 strikeouts.
Good slider this time to Gonzalez. He's got a mid-90s fastball and a slider to go with it.
Bouncing ball to the shortstop. Sellers bobbles and still gets his man. Remember, Gonzalez coming back from knee surgery last year. Sellers had time to throw him out for the second out.
Yep, didn't panic. Got a good hop off the ground and a good strong throw to first base.
And that'll bring up Chris Davis now. Brewers feel very good about their core of young outfielders. The big league outfield is very impressive, with Ryan Braun, of course, an MVP candidate, and then Gomez and Aoki. The 4th outfielder this year is going to be Logan Schaefer, and he's had a great spring. Schaefer, a left-handed bat who can really run, and a smooth operator in center field too.
Yeah, Brewers are blessed with 2 very good defensive center fielders. Not sure which one is better than the other.
And then you think about Braun, who has been pushing towards a Gold Glove the last couple of years. Very fast in left field and a great arm. And then Aoki in right field. He's no longer a center fielder, but he was a 6-time Gold Glove Award winner in Japan as a center fielder. So
yeah, with a very good throwing arm in the outfield. Very accurate.
0-2 pitch to Davis is down and away. And then you've got this next wave of young outfielders, and Chris Davis is part of that. Chris and Kentrail Davis, Caleb Gendel, Josh Prince. That is an area of strength for the Brewers. So if there is a trade to be made, or if you have a need due to injury when the season starts, that's an area they're covered. As Davis lines one to left. Nice play, Castellanos. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Wall. We'll visit with a skipper when we come back. Brewers lead the Dodgers as we head to the 7th inning. A couple of changes here for the Brewers. Gomez will take over at the shortstop position, and Morris over at first. Brewers minor league player of the year last year, Hunter Morris. And the new pitcher is Brandon Kinsler. And the man making all of those changes and burning up our scorebooks up here is Ron Roenicke, the Brewers skipper. And we'll have a chance to hear from you, Ron, this entire inning. And how are things going for you this spring, would you say? What's the big picture?
Well, it's going well. considering we really haven't had our team together. So certainly different than most spring trainings when you have that many guys gone and you're trying to fill in while those guys are playing their classic. And the nice thing is we get to see a lot of new faces and really give a guy a good chance to show us what he can do.
Yeah, Ron, this is perhaps the longest spring training in many years. I mean, what are you doing? Are you doing different things to keep these guys focused and keep their attention, because they're going to be down here a long time?
You're right, Rock. It's this is a difficult part of the spring, is when you get to where the players feel like they're in shape, and then you're still down here. So with about 2 weeks to go, it's going to be really a challenge. Right now, we're still okay. Guys are still trying to get their at-bats and feel comfortable, and the pitchers are trying to lock in their stuff. So we're still okay so far, but I know later on I'll have to get creative with some things and try to keep them interested in it.
We've been mentioning up here, and the talk around the camp is how many big guys with big arms, good velocity that you have at your disposal this spring, and Brandon Kinsler is certainly one of them. Talk about, you know, your pitching-rich situation right now as far as velocity goes.
Yeah, I think the arms that we see this year in camp are pretty impressive. They're not guys that just throw hard, but it looks like they have an idea what they're doing. They've got nice deliveries. They've got pretty simple motions to be able to repeat pitches, and that's certainly what it's all about. You can throw hard, but if you can't put it where you want to, major league hitter's going to hit the ball a long ways.
Visiting with Brewers manager Ron Roenicke, moving along here in the 7th inning today as Scott Van Slyke sends one foul and out of play. Well, Ron, you came up in the Dodger organization. You coached and managed in their minor league system, and even though it's spring training, you've been around this thing a few times. Does it do anything for you to look across and see Dodger blue?
With so many new faces over there, it's different now. I think when we go to Dodger Stadium, I do feel different. But here in spring training, with all the new faces on the other side, I don't have that same feeling.
Too bad we couldn't see Greinke today as Kinsler strikes out Van Slyke. But post Greinke, that's obviously a big topic of discussion. You guys were able to climb back into the race after the trade of Zach Greinke, and why was that? And what makes you feel like this is going to be another opportunity to capitalize this year because of what you saw last year?
Well, I think nobody knows why that happened. We just, for whatever reason, we put it together with the offense and the pitching. And that was the issue early in the season. When we pitched well, we didn't hit. And when we were hitting, which took us a while before we really started hitting the ball well. And then we weren't pitching well. So to get both those things working is why we turned it around. And then we were able to bring up some young guys that we heard about, had nice arms, and those young guys came up in September, a couple of them before that in August, and really performed well. And because of that performance, we were able to get back in it and able to see what these young guys can do with a little pressure on them in September when we were getting back in the race. And I think when you're able to see those things, you have pretty high hopes for the next year, because if we didn't have that opportunity, there's still a lot of question marks coming into this season. And now we don't have necessarily question marks. It's just whether these guys can do it for an entire season. But we know they have good enough stuff to pitch here. We know some of these guys have the ability to put together nice at bats. We watch this play here.
Yeah, that'll go as an infield hit.
Yeah, another chop ball, a little tough play for Kinsler there. But so I think being able to bring up Segura to see that he can be an everyday major league shortstop, those type of things, you don't have the opportunity all the time to do that. Sometimes you come into spring training, you're hoping the guy can do it. Whereas we know that the guy's already shown he can, and hopefully he can repeat it.
Now, Ron, you don't have too many spots available to win down here, but one spot really first base. Got to have a revolving door going on. First of all, give us an update on Corey Hart, and how glad are you to have Alex Gonzalez in camp right now?
Yeah, Alex is a huge piece for what we did in the off season. Corey is coming along really good in his rehab. Still, you know, I've got a plan on it, as what the doctors originally said, which was the 4 months. But I think Alex being able to switch over from shortstop to first, and now he's playing some third. We know he can play second. I think that really helps us as far as depth, because you guys played by Hunter Morris, and I think by doing that, it allows us to not only rest guys and feel comfortable with our replacements, but if somebody happens to go down for a week or so, we know that Alex can step in and play every day.
Ron, thanks a lot. We appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of spring. We'll see you Wednesday.
Okay, guys.
It's Ron Roenicke. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Cousins. Have a better day at Cousins Subs. Cousins Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day. And by Badger Mutual Insurance. Protecting people's dreams since 1887. Back at Maryville Baseball Park, spring training baseball in the Cactus League. What a glorious day it is today. Brewers lead the Dodgers 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Now this week the World Poker Tour is all new from Los Angeles. Poker's brightest stars rock. They come out to play one of the game's biggest events. The WPT Legends of Poker, presented by ClubWPT.com. So join them Sunday.
You a poker player?
Used to be. Then I lost everything, and now I'm not. But for the sport of it, I'm in. Now we head to the home 7th. Hector Gomez against Chris Reed for the Dodgers.
And Chris Reed, a first-round draft choice out of Stanford in, get this, 2011. So he's in big league camp. 6'4", 195 pounds.
Gomez to Scott Van Slyke for out number 1. And Reed has one away here in this Brewer 7th inning.
Yeah, spent some time last year in one of my favorite towns, Rancho Cucamonga, in the Cal League.
The Quakes.
Yeah.
The Cucamonga Quakes. And their ballpark is called the Epicenter.
Nice. I like it.
It's right there.
Split time in Rancho Cucamonga and Chattanooga. A lot going on in both of those names.
Bobby Crosby started at third base today. He's gone the distance, made a beautiful play at third base defensively. Crosby's 0 for 2. Former Rookie of the Year in the American League, Bobby Crosby, trying to resurrect his career after 2 years away from the game and needing as many at-bats as possible. He had a thigh injury that set him back a couple of weeks. And as difficult as it must be to start a season anew, trying to get your timing back as a hitter. Imagine not playing baseball for 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. That's rough. Tough enough when you have an entire winter off. And think about what Buster Posey did last year after missing just about all of 2011. Incredible. And not easy to do.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Crosby. Nice play up there in the stands. Don't forget, our Ho-Chunk Gaming text question is available for you throughout the course of the season. Austin in New Berlin wants to know, what is the most significant off-season improvement? As you see, the pitching coach Rick Kranitz having a chat with Roenicke and Jerry Naron. Fly ball, right field line. Looked like the wind got a hold of it and keeps it fair, and Crosby is going to be in with a double. Oh, that had a strange flight to it, as Moore was looking that one into foul territory.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. That's just a misplay. You're right. It took a very strange route out there, almost as if it blew back into fair territory, but not a very good effort out in right field. Brewers with a man in scoring position. I think one of the we're not supposed to answer that question?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Or
it just there was the activity after the question.
I thought maybe people were supposed to text in.
Oh, no.
Or is that later on?
No. Rock. The text question is the one you're supposed to answer.
You want me to respond to that?
Right. There's another question that we do. We'll get back in the flow, but we'll ask the question and then let the fans respond. But this is not the one.
Okay.
So this actually requires an answer.
Right. I think the reacquisition of Alex Gonzalez was big. But I also think the acquisition of the 2 left-handers in the bullpen are going to pay big dividends for the Brewers. Brewers have had a tough time keeping a left-hander in their pen over the last couple of years. Everybody else pretty much intact. But that's my answer to the question. Do you have a different response?
No, I think the bullpen is...
Burke Badenhop and the 2 left-handers. But as everybody knows, it's going to come down to the success of John Axford. That's going to be the key component of how your entire bullpen works and how Ron Roenicke is able to use them.
Well, as has been the case the last couple of years, technically it's still not next season yet, right? It's not the regular season, so we're still in the off season, even though spring training has started, and I'm interested to see if the Brewers have one more move up their sleeve. A lot of teams trying to put pieces together as they get towards the end of spring training, and I know the one name that's out there that a lot of organizations would like to see in their uniform is Kyle Loesch, and that would be a huge acquisition if the Brewers could pull that off. Not sure if they can. There has been no communication with the Loesch camp in that regard, but that is a big name that is still available, and the Brewers continue to be rumored as among the teams interested.
And you have to wonder why he is still available. I mean, every team has decided not to make a play for him. He's sitting back waiting for an offer. I'm not privy to the private talks between Loesch and his camp and Major League Baseball teams, but you got to wonder what's going on there.
It is getting late in the spring for a starting pitcher to not be in camp.
Yeah, right.
Kyle Loesch, a fantastic year last year with the Cardinals. One of the top free agents on the market this offseason, and he's still available. Here's Josh Prince, young outfielder. Grade Wheels, a converted shortstop out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Every day you come to the ballpark, you hope Josh Prince puts one in the gap somewhere just to watch him run. He can really fly.
Yes, he can.
The Brewers don't clock their players as far as 40-yard dash, 60-yard dash. There was a time when they did here in spring training, but from what we've been told, Prince is very close to Gomez with flat-out speed.
Yeah, stopped that when somebody blew out a hamstring, wasn't it?
That's right.
A few years ago.
Well, I've got some telecasts for you here from the Cactus League and, of course, the regular season. We will be back on the air Wednesday on Fox Sports Wisconsin at our Miller Lite What's on Tap. That'll be a night game against the Diamondbacks. A late start for those back in Milwaukee. And then on the 19th against the Angels, Ron Roenicke's old team. And then the Padres on March 24th. Rock and I will have the broadcast for you Wednesday. And Giovanni Gallardo scheduled to start Wednesday night. Be good to see Gallardo. John Axford scheduled to return to the Brewers as well.
Yep, and we will be televising the first exhibition game at Miller Park against the White Sox on Friday. What's that, the 29th?
Right, that'll be good fun. An exhibition game at Miller Park. As a swing and a miss, Prince strikes out, and the inning is over. Scoreless inning for Chris Reed. Brewers lead by a run.
All the scoring coming in the fourth inning. And the Brewers not helping Mike Fiers. An error out in center field opened up the floodgates for the Dodgers. Some 2-out base hits, plenty a couple of runs. Giving the Dodgers a 2-0 lead. The Brewers come right back. Carlos Gomez walked. Ricky Weeks nearly hits one out off the top of the wall. Scoring Gomez. And he would score in a ground ball up the middle by Gene Segura. Actually, Chris Davis. And then Brett Lally, a nice piece of hitting, lefty versus lefty, dumping one out into left field to play run number 3. 3-2 as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Good game here at Maryville.
New right fielder Kentrail Davis, top young outfield prospects, getting a couple of innings here against the Dodgers. Macias will stay in and play third base. He pinch ran for Crosby, and there you see Dayton Buller behind the plate. And the new pitcher, Rock, is Donovan Hand.
Another one of those big men that this Brewers organization has. And gets a quick out on a line drive.
One pitch and one out, right to Hector Gomez for out number 1. As we check in with Craig Cashon in the Brewers dugout.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. Brandon Kinsler here, just got done pitching last half inning. Reliever trying to make this club, and tell you what, we were just chatting here a minute ago about what a difference a year makes. A year ago at this time, you were injured, and the spring training really didn't occur for you, but you had to fight your way back during the regular season.
Yeah, it was a long year last year, and obviously I got lucky to make it back, or I worked hard enough to make it back, and then I actually made it to a game this year in spring training. It's nice to actually act like I'm part of the team this time. So now that we're healthy and ready to go, hopefully break with the team.
What did it mean for you to finish strong last year with the club, though, and really put yourself in position to have a role on this team this year out of that bullpen?
Well, it meant a lot because when I got hurt in the beginning in 2011, I thought I was starting to establish myself as a guy that could be a big part of that bullpen, and then obviously got that taken away. And Ron gave me a chance to, kind of help it get that same kind of role, and I succeeded in a big chase that we had. It shows that he's got a lot of confidence in me. It gives me a lot of confidence going into this season.
There's always competition. They signed, obviously, and acquired 3 veteran relievers out in that bullpen right now. What's the competition like right now with you guys?
My competition with those guys isn't much. 2 lefties, and they're on the team, so obviously the competition isn't there. I think as long as I take care of myself and I'm healthy, I'm not really worried about it. If it happens, it happens.
All right. Well, good luck to you, all right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. That's Brandon Kintzler taking some time out for us, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Craig. Thanks to Brandon. And had a big offseason. Got married this offseason, did Brandon Kintzler. As Barton bounces out. Nice play. Hunter Morris and a quick inning for Donovan Hand. 1-2-3 go the Dodgers. Time now for the Marshfield Clinic shining moment of the game. And we take you back to the Brewers' 4th inning. Ricky Weeks almost left the building. It was an RBI triple, and it started a 3-run Brewer 4th against left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu of the Dodgers. Dodgers scored 2 unearned runs in the top of the 4th. Brewers answered with 3 in the bottom half, and that's where we sit. 3-2 Milwaukee as we head to the bottom of the 8th now. Great crowd today. Nearly 5,200 to see this Monday afternoon Cactus League affair. And Hunter Morris is going to lead off. The Brewers minor league player of the year last season. Made a strong run at a triple crown in the Southern League last year. Had a huge year. Certainly in the discussion for the first base job after Corey Hart was injured. And I think the Brewers would probably like to see him start the year in the minor leagues, but a guy that you'll probably see real soon in the big leagues. To the opposite field. Sounded like it was off the end of the bat, and there to make the catch is Castellanos.
I talked to Johnny Nairn, the Brewers hitting coach, today during batting practice about Hunter Morris. He loves his mechanics, and he knows he's going to be able to hit at the big league level, but you got to give him a mulligan. This is his first spring training, and being around the big league guys, although he did have a very good Double-A season, it's a little bit different up here when you got the eyeballs of the whole organization on. You just got to takes a year sometimes to relax. Maybe next year he'll come in and make his mark. And it just seems to have struggled at the plate, reaching for the baseball a little bit, and that's natural. Your first big league spring training. But he's a good one.
And you think about how he arrived to camp as Dayton Buller getting his first at-bat of the ball game, Brewer catcher. Hunter Morris arrives to camp as a guy who's just getting his feet wet with his first big league camp. Chance to just kind of show what he can do, and all of a sudden Gamble gets injured and re-tears the ligament in his knee that was surgically repaired last year. As Buller sends one to right for out number 2. And then Corey Hart with the knee surgery. It's going to be a little while for Hart to come back, and suddenly Hunter Morris is thrust into the spotlight as a guy who could possibly make this team as the opening day first baseman. And I think in those early few games he was feeling some of the heat.
And he was trying to win a job in the first couple of spring training games in February, and that's natural. I mean, what would you do if you were in that position, right? They hear all that stuff. They get a sense of what's going on around them. No Corey Hart, no Gamble. Brewers need some left-handed bats, and Hunter Morris, I just think maybe put a little bit too much pressure on himself early on.
Well, certainly still time to get it going as Jeanette bounces to first, and a quick inning. Chris Reed, 2 scoreless innings out of that Dodger bullpen. Last call for the Dodgers. We go to the 9th. Day in Phoenix, Arizona. Temperatures in the 80s today. 3-2. The Brewers have the lead as we head to the 9th. Well, tomorrow Rock and I will be with you on the webcast. This is the first official webcast promotion of the season. Mark Rogers on the mound. Alexi Ogando for the Rangers. We're headed to Surprise tomorrow, and you can catch that at Brewers.com. And then on Wednesday, Giovanni Gallardo will start for the Brewers. We're back on television Wednesday night. 9 o'clock is airtime in Milwaukee on Fox Sports Wisconsin. So a TV game under the lights, our first night game of the spring, Rock.
And looking forward to that. I mean, I'm surprised as we talk about throughout spring training that there aren't more night games as you get closer to the season. Try to get into that night game groove, and although the lights are not nearly as good as they are in the regular season, but only a couple.
9th inning here. Elian Herrera for the Dodgers leading off. Donovan Hand had a quick 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 8th. All of the runs coming in one single frame, the 4th. Dodgers scored a couple, both unearned. The Brewers have committed 3 errors today. But Milwaukee answering with 3 runs, RBIs from Ricky Weeks, Chris Davis, and Blake Lally in that 3-run 4th inning. And you got to like the way Mike Fiers pitched today. He went 4 innings, did not allow an earned run, and had 3 strikeouts. Fiers was the starter. Everyone in that bullpen has put up zeros. Little bouncer, Macias, an excellent third baseman, just does get the speedy Herrera.
Yeah, Herrera gets down that line in great shape, doesn't he? Wow. A la Matty Alou back in the old days. Yeah, the swinging bunt. Just kind of slicing it, trying to get it toward the shortstop and then outrun the throw. But Macias making a nice play at third base. The idea is not to hit it to third, but to hit it to short. Didn't do it, and they got him.
Macias, part of that Wisconsin Timber Rattler team that won the Midwest League last year, and he is as good as it gets defensively at third base. Nice play. So here's a Meziga now. He squares the bunt. Alfredo Amezaga came up through the Angels system. Was one of their top young shortstops when he was coming up through the minor leagues. That's been over a decade ago, and trying to fight his way onto this Dodger roster. Not many jobs available with the Los Angeles Dodgers this season.
Spent a number of years with the Marlins in Florida.
Now the Dodgers supposed to send Josh Beckett to the mound tomorrow, and I'm sure everybody's anxious to hear the news on Zach Greinke, who went back to Los Angeles today to have his elbow looked at. He was supposed to start today's game. Right off the foot. Brewers are going to see the Dodgers in late April at Dodger Stadium. Mid-May at Miller Park. Opening day, April 1st, and we'll have it for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Bouncing ball to Jeanette. And Donovan Hand has retired 5 in a row. Well, the Brewers and the Rockies open up the regular season, the championship season. Brewers have a nice homestand to start the year at Miller Park. I always feel good about being in Miller Park the first series of the year, because you know the roof's going to be closed and you're not going to have to deal with the rough weather. Brewers will welcome in the Rockies and the Diamondbacks that first series homestand. Jeremy Moore rolls to Jeanette, and that's it. Donovan Hand, 6 up, 6 down. And he earns a 2-inning save, and the Brewers defeat the Dodgers by a final score of 3-2 in front of a crowd of nearly 5,200 here at Maryvale Baseball Park today. We'll take a break. Final thoughts when we continue from the Cactus League.